Acolyte, there are moments in history where the Imperium reveals what it truly is. This is one of them. There are victories and there are warnings. There are cities built to endure and cities built to be remembered. Monarchia was both. It did not stand at the edge of the Imperium. It stood at its heart. A perfect expression of what one son believed the Imperium could become. And that was the problem. Monarchia, a city of symmetry, of devotion, of belief made manifest. It was not a fortress, not a bastion of war, but a statement. Lorgar's vision given form. A place where humanity did not merely comply, it believed. A city that would come to define the Imperium you know today. Monarchia stood as a monument to faith. A city built not for defense or expression, but for reverence. Its people were united, not by fear of the Imperium, but by love of it. Every structure aligned. Every voice carried the same message. The Emperor was more than a ruler. He was divine. They did not come as conquerors. They came as judges. The 13th Legion, Ultramarines, led by Rebute Gilliman. Monarchia did not resist. It could not. There was nothing to fight. No rebellion, no defiance, only faith. The fleet hung in the sky like a blade waiting to fall. No warning was given. No negotiation offered. The people of Monarchia continued beneath it, unaware that judgment had already been passed. The order was given, and Monarchia burned. Fire fell from the heavens. Not indiscriminate, not uncontrolled, precise, deliberate, systematic. The destruction of Monarchia was not chaos. It was design. Buildings collapsed in sequence. Streets were reduced to ash. The monuments of devotion were erased as though they had never existed. Worlds had burned before. They would burn again. But Monarchia was not destroyed for resistance. It was destroyed to make a point. This was not the first world to burn, but it was different. This was not war. This was a lesson. Lorgar was brought to the ruins, forced to kneel before his father, before his brothers, before the ashes of everything he had built. They were not alone. The custodian guard stood watch, silent, unmoving. Witnesses not to war, but to judgment. And there was another. Not a warrior, not a primarch, but no less significant. Malcador the Sigillite, the Emperor's most trusted advisor, keeper of secrets, regent of terror. The Emperor did not shout. He did not rage. His words were measured, precise, as controlled as the destruction that had come before them. Faith, he declared, had no place in the Imperium. Worship was weakness. Devotion was error. The Emperor was not a god. Do not mention that in front of any Ordo Hereticus members. And Lorgar had failed. Guilliman stood nearby, silent, unyielding, not cruel, but not merciful. He had carried out the order, nothing more, nothing less. Lorgar looked upon him, and for a moment, it almost became something else. Not words, not faith, violence. A single step, a tightening of the hand, a moment where the future could have changed. But it passed. And Lorgar did not strike him. Not then. Faith does not die easily. It lingers. It festers. It waits. In the aftermath of Monarchia, Lorgar did not abandon belief. He questioned it. He sought to understand why something that had brought unity and purpose had been condemned so completely. And in that questioning, he was not alone. Erebus, a voice among many, but not all voices are equal. He did not command. He did not lead. He suggested, guided, shaped. He whispered, and Lorgar listened. Erebus was not merely a priest. He was a bridge between Lorgar's wounded faith and other hearts within the Great Crusade. The 16th Legion had already stood beside the 17th in war on worlds such as Davin. Bonds had been made, and bonds can become roads. Monarchia was gone, reduced to ash, its people scattered, its meaning erased. Not all were lost. Among the ashes, there were survivors. One in particular who would come to mean far more than anyone present could have understood. Her name is not yet important, but it will be. The Imperium had made its point. Faith would not be tolerated. Deviation would be punished. Unity would be enforced. The Imperium, you know, was not built in a moment. It was shaped in moments like this. But something had changed. Something subtle. Something dangerous. A sun had been broken. And in that fracture, something new began to form. And when faith is denied by the Father, it seeks another voice, another truth, another God. The road from Monarchia did not end in ash. It led elsewhere, to older places, to broken worlds, to Cadia. In the next record, we follow that fracture beyond the Imperium, beyond the truth it claims to uphold, into something far older, far darker. Prepare yourself, Acolyte, because this was only the beginning.